Welcome to the 2023 Economic Depression and Preparation Channel. I'm your host, Tony. Thanks for joining me on this August 31st, 2023 edition here. Today we're going to be talking about FEMA, the wildfires, this fund running low, the jobs report in August, and also how the supply chain, there's some good news for supply chains for West Coast workers and other workers as well. So it's not all doom and gloom. Please be sure to subscribe to Preach to Me for the latest interpretation of the U.S. financial picture as the news becomes available for us. Thank you for joining me. Now we're going to get right into it. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the FEMA is down to its last $3.4 billion, according to CNBC.com today, as Maui wildfires. As you know, the wildfires in Maui and the city of Lahaina is going to be taking up about 2 to 3 years to fully recover, maybe longer, to rebuild that town. People are still not able to access, the locals are still not able to access that town due to toxic fumes in the area that could be cancer causing. Also, Hurricane Idalia now slammed the U.S. Now, many in Florida, as bad as it was along the Big Bend of Florida and Perry, I know in Taylor County, and some of those coastal communities down in Keaton Beach and Horseshoe Beach and all those areas down there in the Big Bend. The blessing was that it's a less populated area, and the storm was moving very quickly at northeast up to 20 miles an hour. So it did, make a quick hit. And so that was one of the blessings in disguise, and that wasn't that many fatalities. So God really blessed Florida in that sense. And so but the recovery, nonetheless, these counties are going to be asking for money from the federal government and from other city and state local assistance as well, mutual aid. They're going to be asking for that money, and it has to be paid. So FEMA Administrator Deanne Criswell said this week that the U.S. Disaster Relief Fund has a balance of $3.4 billion, which will be exhausted in the first half of September. Now, obviously, they have reserves and other things too that are not mentioned in this article, but it is concerning when you have an agency chief come out and say that, look, we're running out of money. We have a lot of disasters with wildfires. Hurricane season is just getting started. The peak of the hurricane season, as you know, doesn't begin till September 10th through October 10th. That's when we're going to see the bulk of our hurricane season activity. And there's still 70% left of activity for hurricane activity for the United States and the coastal cities. So just to be mindful of that. So with that being said, the August job report could mean for stocks. What could that mean? MarketWatch.com. As you know, so far, bad news about the economy is being treated as good news. We said whether that's inflation being above 4%, whether that's, jobs lost or cut by these different tech companies. The stock market continues to rally, ladies and gentlemen. Now, that's good news for those of you who are, playing the options game, or maybe you're playing a, in the stock market, or maybe you're short selling, or all that kind of stuff. Or, I'm not an expert in stocks, but I heard a lot of people do that. That's good news. But it also could mean bad news for the majority of us who are working. Some of us that could be working 2 and 3 jobs. A lot of Americans are working 2 and 3 side hustles in addition to their main job in order to make ends meet. Now, that's a good thing, but it's a bad thing that it takes away time for us to prep from what's really important with our family, friends, to prep spiritually, to prep mentally, to prep physically to survive this long downturn that we're going to be experiencing here in the next, say, 3-4 years, okay? Regardless of who's in office or what happens politically. We are going to a lower standard of living, a lower type of environment here. So that's something to look out for too as well. Now, the West Coast port workers, this is good news. They ratified the contract agreement. As you know, the Port of Long Beach, California, one of the busiest ports in the United States. They came to a 6-year contract deal with the 22,000 employees at 29 ports stretching from California to Washington State. This is the International Longshore and Warehouse Union said on Thursday. So they voted 75% in favor of approving the West Coast port worker deal. Now, this lasts throughout July 1st, 2028. So that's pretty good. It includes a 32% pay increase over the span of the contract and a one-time bonus for those that were working through the early days of the COVID pandemic, by the way, which we're in the almost 3.5 years going on in this sort of COVID emergency, which is just declared ended by President Biden, I believe, in May. So he went 3 years and still in it, kind of like still in this COVID type of environment. So that's what that going on. But also high time to invest in climate adaptation. Like I said, natural catastrophes cost insurers $50 billion in the first half of 2023. Severe thunderstorms account for up to 70% of the $50 billion. Let me know in the comments, what do you think about these storms? Is it natural? Is it man-made? Like climate change? Is it just something a sign of the times? Because we've had, California's had Hillary, a tropical storm, and an earthquake last week in the same week, a little mini quake. We've had, fires everywhere in places that normally don't have fires, like in Canada on the East Coast and Ontario and Ottawa and all these weird places. So let me know what you think about that in the comments. Do you think it's just a naturally occurring thing as a result of climate change, or is it some other kind of man-made thing, or is it just, it's just the cycle of nature with the 30-year cycle of the weather cycle that we have, that they study climatology. And how is that going to impact your daily life? Because there's a lot of things that are out of our control. That's why I say it's always good to have a plan where you can meet with family, friends, cohorts, neighbors, chums, because you're not going to be skilled in everything. A lot of people think, I listen to a lot of survivalist channels and prepper channels, and they think they're going to be skilled in every area there is. It's just not possible. And that's why it's good to have a network of friends, family, cohorts that you can trust, a trusted network that can advise you on prepping and different things of that nature, because no one is strong in all areas. We all need, the chain is only as strong as its weakest link. And so this is what's going to become very important. And as we go through this next Great Depression 2.0, because in Depression 1.0 in 1929, everybody helped each other out. But in this next depression, it may not be that way. It may be a helping of a different kind. Maybe, spiritually, maybe digitally, online, maybe offline. It may look different than what, the bartering economy that we've seen in the past. So just something to keep in mind. Anyway, this is the last day of August. We're heading to the last quarter of this year, fourth quarter of this year. Stay blessed, stay prayed up, and stay encouraged. We're doing well as a country. We're blessed as a nation. Regardless of wherever we may be in this world, we're blessed. We have food. We have shelter. We're doing better than 85 to 90% of the world at this moment, despite of the slowdown and everything that's going on. So be blessed. I'll talk to you very soon. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Talk to you soon.